Good morning, everyone. Myself, Ankit Choudhary. I founded Azur group, which is less into events, more into experiences. And that's what we're going to talk about today on how planners and hotels can co-create exceptional experiences. So first, we'll go around with a small introduction from each one of you, please. Sunaina, we can start with you.
I knew I was on the hot seat, so I'll go first. So, good morning, everyone. I'm Sunaina. I'm from Iskra Events and Celebrations. We are one of the leading, I'd like to believe that, event planning and decor companies, been in the industry for almost a decade now. We host large-scale weddings and corporates as well. Headquartered in Bombay, we've just done a recent expansion into Goa. And of course, we're looking to more great collaborations and business from all of you. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Shruti Tiwari, and I run a company called Vogue Luxury Weddings, which is VLW Global. And in the business for a good 10 years now, have a background of production and decor. And looking forward for this amazing panel today. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Nafisa. I'm the founder of Purple Tree Event Solutions. It's a 13-year-old full-service wedding planning, destination wedding planning agency, and I'm happy to be here today.
Morning, everyone. My name is Kamar Hakim. I represent a company called DRQ Events and Experiences. I'm a former hotelier who moved into the event industry. I've been a part of the industry for 18 years now. And my company's been doing corporate events in Goa. I think I'm one of the few guys who does corporate events in Goa. I've been doing this for about 8 or 9 years. Looking forward to a lovely discussion this afternoon, rather.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Mohammad Gaus, the director of AMSA Group, the event management and the production house. We are based in Goa since last 20 years. We have one of the biggest production houses in Goa. Thank you.
Hi, good morning. My name is Mark. I run a company called Crafting Memories. We are into weddings where we take care of the entire planning, execution, and decor. I also started with my entertainment company called Storm 7, where we used to host curated parties, and then we switched the same clientele to weddings. So here we are today, excited to discuss with everyone.
Great. Can we have a round of applause for everyone? Lovely. Good to have you guys here. Good morning, everyone. And yes, so today we are talking more about how hotels and event planners can collaborate. Because when a client comes now, it's no more about a generic event that they're looking or a good logistics. They want exceptional, memorable experiences to be created. And that cannot happen just by the event companies or just by the hotels. I believe it can only happen with the true collaboration. Right. So, having said, Kamar, I would start with you. Coming again from, both the industries, being ex-hotelier and now into events. What is your take on this, and how do you see planners and hoteliers can best collaborate?
It's quite an interesting question to start with. It's a very broad subject, of course. I think a lot of us will agree it's a very broad subject. I'll give you an example. Many years ago when I started in this industry, I was asked a question by, I think, my first or second customer, where he asked you, when you say you're an event planner, karte kya ho? What do you do? And the answer was very simple. Everything that a hotel does not do. And that's the real truth about it. I mean, with all my panelists here, when we speak to them in depth, you'll understand that this industry, hospitality and events, are very intertwined. And in many ways, we fill the gaps that a hotel can't deliver. We're the first person in a meeting, whether it's a hotelier or a customer, they turn towards when they see something that can't be delivered. And in truth, this industry requires both the perfect blend of a planner and a hotelier or a hospitality company. And that's where that partnership is really important.
So, because you do more of corporate events, so how do you think some collaborations have helped you especially with your corporate delegates?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
How some collaborations with hotels have helped you with certain corporate delegates?
I think every event that we do has a collaboration. I mean, let's look at it this way. From the moment a event or a group is confirmed with a hotel, you have an event manager or a catering company that, or a catering sales gentleman who gets in touch with you to understand in depth what's happening with that event. We are thereafter sharing layout plans of what's happening at the venue, what's happening with transport, what's happening with food, meals, everything put together. Every event that you do, there is not one event that cannot have an event plan on board. And every event that we speak about, everyone has one.
Great. Makes sense. But again, Nafisa, that was not the thought when earlier in the weddings, right? Ki you always need an event planner. You have event planner in your families. That was the thought earlier in the weddings, right? Now, how do you think that collaboration with the hotels and how does it help in the when you plan a journey in the wedding events?
So the first part of your, your statement was not a question actually. Earlier you didn't need a event planner because events and weddings happened very differently earlier. It would always be, you didn't have this concept of destination weddings and you didn't have large scale events happening. So you didn't need professional help to kind of guide you through that entire process. In terms of how hotels and planners should collaborate, let me first touch upon the point of hospitality. A lot of people think hospitality is just about guest check-ins and taking people to their rooms and dropping hampers into the rooms and turn down services and stuff. I personally believe that the hospitality starts from your first touch point with the client, which could be communication, it could be a gesture, it could be remembering a birthday, post-event. So it starts from that first point of contact till maybe forever. Because once you gain a client, if however good your hospitality is, you will have them forever. The second point being that, wedding planners and event managers jump from hotel to hotel, venues to venue, destination to destination. So I feel like the hotel becomes your anchor to customize your idea of hospitality to what is actually required, like, curating it to the T. So yeah, it really does. It makes a big, difference. And whenever we're talking about luxury weddings, it's not about doing grand gestures and putting up big sets. It's about doing meaningful stuff. And that's where hospitality comes in. And that meaningful stuff is what people remember. The meaningful stuff is what gets people back. And meaningful stuff is actually what I think is the crux of everything. I'll just give you an example. We've all done weddings. We have like similar formats, you have a welcome and you'd probably have like some kind of entertainment, you have a welcome drink and stuff like that. So we did a wedding in Portugal and we did it at a very, a beautiful, like a picturesque property called the Ritz-Carlton, and we did it in a month where it was raining. Although it was against my advice, the client decided to do it in such a month. So when we did the check-in, after the check-in was done, we gave everyone an option to do on that particular day, it was not raining, the sun was out, it was looking amazing. And I was like, we're not going to get to see this probably throughout our stay. So we gave everyone an option to do a walking tour with one of the hotel staff as they checked in, to just walk through the property and see it in its gorgeousness. 90% of them went for it. And that's something they remembered because the property itself was so gorgeous. So that's one small little thing that I can...
So I agree to this. So yesterday we had a panel where all the various GMs were here and there was a question raised that, do guests want to interact when they are welcome at the lobby, or do they want to just quickly get back to their room or something like that? So one of the panelists said very interesting thing that most of the guests don't want to get interacted or anything at the arrival because they feel that they'll be asked a generic question of how was your flight and what is your plan and all these things. Rather, if you ask them something, a very experiential question that, hey, can I book you a nice local Goan fish thali cuisine restaurant? And when would you like to go there? Or you must be tired from your flight. Can I book you a nice experiential spa? So that would be much more interacting. So I think this kind of experience, what you created for them in Portugal, was something people must have really enjoyed, that they could witness the beauty what they were called there for. Shruti, do you want to share some experience of yours where you have collaborated and has been a successful one?
Yeah, working in Goa, maximum hotels, we have executed a lot of weddings, and there are amazing experiences where I really feel hotel have gone out of the way to, to make us and the client comfortable. We as a team, we have experienced like sudden weather change. Last year was full of surprise. This was the latest in Taj. We experienced last minute a lot of change, and the way hotel, the hospitality staff and chefs, everyone came together, and we turned the whole outdoor event to indoor was amazing. The experience was so good that I feel the togetherness between the hospitality and the event team is something which has really evolved. Earlier there was a gap. I feel there was a lack of communication. We used to feel very, hesitant to approach a general manager because of the hierarchy. Now I have seen of late, everyone is so approachable that it makes a lot of difference, in overall experience and executing a good wedding.
No, that's a very fair point. I think, especially in just last minute firefighting situations, I think this collaboration plays a big role. And like, this is what I generally do is when my clients ask me, who's your team, where are your team, I said every hotel is my team. That's how I put it.
That's true.
Yeah. But then all this collaboration is not limited to events. Like, there are long-term collaborations as well. So Sunaina, I'll ask you, how's your collaboration with ITC, and how is it helping you or the hotel, and how's mutually benefiting both of you?
Okay, so thank you for that question. And I'm going to take more than a minute because this is extremely close to my heart. And, for you guys as well. So I'm going to answer this question not as a planner, not as a designer, not as a decor team, while we excel in everything, but as a hotelier. I'm going to give you a perspective from the hotel side. Now, this model is a stamp of assurance for any hotel that is looking at being a top destination for hosting events. What that stamp of assurance is, that it is the need of the hour to continuously upgrade their brand position, their strategy, and their overall branding as such. Now, what ITC, and I give full credit to them, is what they realized is that they lacked a certain space. That was probably their biggest drawback in hosting weddings that they were losing out on. The ITC realized that the competition today is so high that, a client today, the end user, is not happy that just because 2 boxes are not checked and the 5 are, the client is going to come to you. They've cut that competition. What they lacked was this grand space, state-of-the-art, 12,000, 13,000 square feet, huge heights, made absolutely beautifully, and that has completely changed the business game for them. So today, where ITC has been put because of it is, instead of them going out and asking for that business, today their energies are diverted towards how we can do competitive closures. Again, because we are part of them, we have collaborated with them to make this marquee for them. And because I have this number, so I have the data that shows you that how many days, how many events, the kind of events that ITC today does, So a simple step, a simple chance taken towards innovation and upgrading their overall model has absolutely cut that competition. And of course, what has done, for us, this is a great example for cross-branding, marketing, strategic referrals, absolutely brilliantly, beautifully done between Iskra and ITC.
Lovely. Would you want to tell your co-panelists and others on how this initiated, how this thing, maybe in a short thing, but how did they all initiate?
Okay, sure. So this came, again, from the data that ITC obviously held and the trust and the amount of business that we've done with them to understand what they lacked. Even when we were building this model, the discussion was so open between us that it wasn't presented as हमको यही करना है. It came to us as what can we together as a team create that works for both of us. And that again is a brilliant example of how collaboration between planners and hotels is working today.
And I'm sure that it has changed the numbers in a big way for you as well as for the hotel as well.
Absolutely. Like I said, this is a pure model of cross-branding, marketing, referrals, the trust that they put in us to run that marquee. And of course, in return, the amount of, I would not like to go into numbers, the trust that is reciprocated, to us works both ways.
Lovely. Mohammed, you have mentioned something similar in your book, what you have written, that hotels should consult event companies when they are building up event venues and all. So why do you say that?
I say this because a good event planner knows exactly what a grand event needs, right from the proper ballroom height to the secret back-end access area for transporting the material without disturbing the guest. And most of the venues are aesthetically made beautiful, but they lack the ballroom height or the access to work smoothly. Hence, I have mentioned that in my book.
True. I think because of all our experiences, we know all these things. But having said, I would want to put this point on behalf of the hotels. There are a lot of times that hotels have constraints in terms of utilizing the whole space that they have while they're building the hotel. So they are bound to make maybe a smaller venue or a venue with a lower height or something like that. It's an appeal from the hotels to all the event planners that, try and promote those hotels or educate those hotels, by telling them, okay, this is a problem that you're facing, but probably this is how you can overcome that. Or these are kind of events is what we can promote at your venue because of your size or because of your ambience or because of your height or whatever it could be. So yeah, Kama, do you want to say something on that?
I just want to say that why don't they consult event planners before, starting a hotel?
So it's as I said, sometimes it's a space constraint that they have.
There are consultants that exist in this industry. If you are designing your hotel, look at Grand Hyatt, for example. The hotel is designed for mice. They understand what works for them. A Taj Convention has built a hotel which works for them. When you work in small spaces like North Goa, where you have halls on the 3rd floor and 4th floor, without proper access by way of lifts or staircases, it does affect your event. So when you're actually working, and it has nothing to do with a lack of space, it has to do with poor planning. A banquet space can't be on the 3rd floor. You could build the same damn thing on the ground floor. So maybe you need to go back and let the same guys know that they need to consult some of us maybe.
So there's a good business opportunity coming in. Okay, so having said, I always believe that it's a destination before anything. So I'm sure most of your clients also they shortlist their destination that they want to do it in Goa, and then they are coming looking for a venue or looking for a planner in Goa or something like that. Or of course it works other way also, that you have your referral and repeat clients who wants to take you to different locations and different destinations. So if you talk about Goa and how Mark, I want to listen this from you, that how do hotels and event planners can collaborate and promote Goa as a destination and ensure that it becomes the most preferred destination for anybody wanting to do an event in their families or in their corporate surroundings.
Got it. So I think everyone's looking for a value for, most of the clients are looking for a value for money kind of a scenario in today's scene. So I think everything looks good for sure, but there are a few points which the hotels can probably touch on, and the resorts also. One thing could probably be like the room rates throughout the whole year. Like that is one point. Besides that, even touching upon the licenses part, a lot of clients get stuck with licenses, like say few weeks before the wedding. If they have proper clarity on what licenses they actually need for each event, and even how much it would roughly estimate to, I think it's always better for them to also to budget accordingly. Because if I'm a layman sitting in another city, for me it may think, okay, chalo, 1 lakh mein ho jayega, but it can actually amount to 4 to 5 lakhs. So also giving that indication of the amount at that point of time is also good. Besides that, one thing we really need to focus on is great hospitality. We definitely do good hospitality, but I think it should come from within, from every touch point, right from the airport to the hotel, to whoever you deal with. Like whoever comes to the hotel, they may be there for those 2 days, but whoever they probably meet, interact with, I think that warmth should be there. And I think even commuting is also kind of becoming a challenge, right from the airport to the hotel or any place they would want to go, even after the wedding. It is super expensive to commute. So probably even if different stakeholders from different departments, maybe the planners, the taxi guys, the license body, even the government officials can kind of, if all of us can kind of come up with like a policy wherein it's in best interest of everyone, I think it should be good for the business, because see, we are not here for like 1 or 2 years. It has to sustain. Post-COVID, the prices have literally gone up, but for how long is also the question, because otherwise we see clients moving to other destinations and moving out of Goa. But this is the only way we can probably retain. And besides that, I think from a tech point of view, hotels can even come up with like virtual tours, wherein there is some other part of the country, but through a virtual show around, they can actually understand the look and feel of how the lobbies, how the entrances, or how each ballroom space would be. So they can imagine their venue there itself. So I think keeping these points in mind, but I think in the end, Goa is definitely liked, but I think it should also be loved from within. It shouldn't just be an option. People should go back with a nice experience.
Absolutely, and I think what you said is, of course, like points like the licenses and taxes and all those things are a never-ending thing and ongoing always. But I think most important is to educate your client about it. And so, Shruti, how do you do that? How do you convince your clients to? Is it like that the clients choose a destination, then they come to you, or is it that you convince them to choose Goa as a destination or any other destination for that matter?
See, in India, at least Rajasthan and Goa, the two top destinations where Goa has so much potential that if someone who wants to come to Goa, it's so easy because it flows in, that Goa has a vibe that, Rajasthan is full of like palatial and royalty, but when it comes to someone who's looking out for a vibe like Goan beach, then it comes organically, Goa as a destination. I really feel when the first call when we make to the client, the first thing we ask, is it Goa or you want some other destination? Then definitely we pitch for Goa. We want to promote Goan weddings more. And as Mark just mentioned, that there are few pointers which really can convince and calm a client to actually go ahead as Goa for destinations. Weddings here, right from North Goa to South Goa, whichever property you choose, there are different range of hotels, there are different budgeting which can be done, which makes it very easy for a planner like us to convince that, okay, we will work backwards towards the budget, and it comes very organically. We don't need to do too much to make sure that Goa is selected as a destination for them.
Yeah, I mean, Goa has its own charm always, yes. But see, Goa is seen as a very a leisure destination, and most of the hotels operate on a very leisure mode. So I want to ask Kamar, how do you, because corporates require a different pace, and with that kind of leisure attitude that the hotels have and Goa overall have, how do you tackle that, and how do you convince them that Goa is the destination?
I think it first starts with acknowledging that the laid-back, susegad culture of Goa is actually a USP for us. Most of our customers who are here for corporate or wedding travel, for that matter, are coming from metros, and they're already sick and tired of the lives that they have. Goa gives them this 2-day, 3-day opportunity or a window to kind of get away from that rut that they are in. Having said so, there are certain must-haves for a corporate event which, when we are planning this with the customer, we sit down with the hotel and we have these must-haves, things that need to get clued on. So whether it's your check-in experience, your airport arrival experience, there are certain elements that you cannot go wrong with. At the same time, your evenings can be leisurely, your breaks in between can be leisurely. So it's finding the right balance between the two, where you are ensuring that the hotel has enough information, because they're the masters of operational efficiency and we believe we're the masters of creativity. So it's about creating the right balance between the two, where you have operational efficiency for elements that are extremely important for a corporate event. At the same time, we offer them leisure. Seamless service without it being in your face. It goes back to the point you spoke about, where do customers at the time of check-in want to have a GM or a hotel manager come in their face and say ABC? Sometimes no, but what happens is you need to have some kind of engagement with the customer, and has to be seamless. It should seem natural and flowing, not that you've been asked to come and do something. So the same is for our industry, the way we work, seamless.
So is this interaction, or there's more to make a good corporate into an exceptional one?
So a good corporate event is one that meets expectations. An excellent one is that exceeds expectations. Exceeding expectation means viewing into elements which the customer would not be aware of. Thinking ahead of time, being prepared for issues that might happen. At 11 o'clock in the night, you get a call saying, I need XYZ done, being prepared for that before anyone else is. That makes an excellent event or an exceptional event. A good event is you have an element list, you just deliver what is given to you.
So how do you think hotels can help you in making those good events into exceptional by doing some right collaborations?
It's a very good question. And there's a very simple answer. Consider event planners as not service providers, but your partners. If you can look at us as your partners in the overall experience selling to the end customer, you'll achieve that objective.
Great. I think that's a very fair point said, that collaboration doesn't mean that you have a service partner on board or you have a vendor on board. It means you actually have a co-partner on board whose aims are the same, that we want to deliver exceptional experience for the customer. So very well said. I'll move on to Nafisa. Nafisa, because you do planning and you do hospitality and you focus a lot on the guest data and all of those things. In this today's world of hyper personalization, you require a lot of data from the customer, and also in the world where data privacy has become a very, very hot topic. So how do you ensure to provide that hyper personalization? How planners and hotel can, collaborate and use that data without being transactional or without even hampering the data privacy policies?
See, getting the data is one thing, and what you extract out of it is another. So, in terms of data privacy, once you're, you of course have a core team that handles all the data, and these are people that work with you on a high level of trust. We've worked with VIPs, VVIPs. We've never really had an issue of a data breach. We've also had to sign NDAs sometimes, so that pictures don't go out, and we have like a whole process of a certain protocol that needs to be followed for certain events. It's just a matter of following processes, understanding first what the client's requirement is, to what extent they would want privacy, and then just working on checklists accordingly and fulfilling those requirements.
Lovely. So I'll take that one point over there about the NDA. I think I want to educate our crowd that most of this VVIP weddings, celebrity weddings, and all of those things require different kind of NDAs to be done or something like that. Sunaina, maybe you want to share an experience of doing a celebrity wedding, if you can openly talk about it now after the wedding is done, and how was the journey, if you can tell in short.
Yes. So I'll talk about a few. We had done Shama Sikandar's wedding at W Goa. Of course, the invitees included your A-listers from Bollywood, from actors to producers. There were music directors and the likes of those. So she's right when she says that there is a certain protocol that we have to follow. Whenever you're doing a celebrity wedding, even simple social events that we do, whether it is the Shetty's Diwali parties, the Bachchan birthdays, all of those, there is a certain protocol that you follow. What we also kind of understand is that every client, from their background, has a certain set of expectations from us that kind of puts things into perspective of how it has to be followed. So as much as the planner, or the designer or the decor team is at the forefront trying to deliver exceptional events, making sure all protocols are followed, there is a team on the other side as well keeping a continuous check of whether this is followed or not. I will also talk about another wedding whose name I will not take. I'll wait for the pictures to come out and then announce it. The NDA that was followed, simple things like the cameras are covered with a stick-on. Your laptops are not allowed at the venue, so it's going to be featured at the OTT platform. And more than kind of the documentation that follows, it's that inner drive of, this is what you're delivering, this is what is expected out of you, and more importantly, your reputation at stake. So that automatically kind of trickles down into your end delivery product.
Interesting. So I think because, in general, crowd is always fascinated by listening to such stories, and especially when it's about their favorite celebrities, or how was their wedding experience, or how was all those things. Shruti, do you want to share an experience?
Let me also add, some of them are a pain to work with.
I'm sure most of them would be, because they're used to all of those things. So, without quoting anyone, but Shruti, do you want to share an experience?
So, we did like Adar Jain's white wedding. We did earlier. I did Keshav Suri's gay wedding, which was much talked about. It was one of the first gay ever executed in India, and it was very much under the wrap. And they were. I got a notice after that wedding because of my first Vogue, you remember. So that was the major thing. And then recently we did Satvik Yoga's owner's wedding. It was a very nice, fully sustainable wedding, very beautiful wedding, but we were not allowed to post until they post. So that was there, but nothing over the top. It's all do's and don'ts now. Every client has become a celebrity for us. I mean, it's right from Kanpur Gutka guys to South Indian weddings. They are very clear. The surgeon's daughter's wedding, which we are doing this year, they told us you cannot feature our work in a Leela. So that's how it is. I mean, as far as everyone is happy, that's not an issue. It can be painful, yeah, you're right.
So with your these kind of experiences, have you ever got a chance to leverage on some technologies and co-collaborate with hotels and make that experience much better by using some kind of technologies or something?
See, there are apps. I can see a lot of young generation getting into apps when they approach us. But if you ask me from hotel point of view, I feel I really wish technologies are going to be a major future for us. I wish our data should be integrated in a way where we can all get updates. The hotel and client and us together, it's like a dream come true, but like a dashboard which can be shared. So people are working, we are as a team also working on few of the technologies which we have taken help from an agency from Bombay. So internally, definitely, this is all the future, I guess.
Yeah, I think even, again, Kama would agree that, probably hotels should come up with some kind of informational technology where they keep informing all the planners and everybody of what's happening in real time at the hotel, what's a new update coming in, what's new chef coming in, or anything like that.
I think we already have enough information. If you look at the WhatsApp messages that we have every day with broadcasts, I think that's enough already. I think it's about filtering the information that now comes in. With social media, there's literally updates every second minute. Even I'm sure what's happening right now is on some platform. It's honestly about filtering the right information. I mean, I'll tell you about us. In terms of NDAs, of course, I think no one faces that flag more than us. In events, I'm not allowed to post an event for a year. So most of my contracts are minimum 1 year, because when you're working with channel partners, let's say there's an ex-company who's hosting 500 people in Goa, they don't want the competitors to know that they're doing this, because that gets easily replicated. So NDAs is critical for us. As far as softwares are concerned, I mean, we of course use workforce management softwares, because we're not only working with our own teams who are at multiple locations. At times we're also working with multiple vendors in different locations. So of course there are applications out there. I know weddings are still a lot more PPT and Excel sheet driven, but corporates have moved to software. So we also have one customized for us that we work on.
So do you also ask the hotels to be part of that app, or do you also want hotels to be involved in that app too? And would it make your journey more easier?
I think if they would be open to it, yeah. I mean, there's a need for a global software. I mean, most hotels use Delphi, for example, as a software that they work on for all their internal communications. And Hyatts have an excellent platform that they use, which is on the go. Maybe in the future, there's an opportunity for event companies and hotels to collaborate on one software together, maybe. The issue there will be, however, data infringement, because it'll allow us to access their data. I'm not sure how that works, but maybe there's an opportunity in the future.
So there's a new business opportunity that with all technology coming in, with all AI coming in, that build something where the hotels, the planners, the vendors, and all can use a common app and make that the event journey very successful. So I would summarize this the whole collaboration thing, and I think it's not one or two ways. There are many ways that hotels can collaborate with the planners and vice versa to make that whole experience much better. But Sunaina, what is your experience, as a planner over the years? How the whole mindset of the client has changed, and how hotels have adapted, and how are they dealing with that?
Okay, so there definitely has been a boom in the event industry over the last few years. Actually, to realistically put it, post-COVID, Initially, how the industry and every player in it was moving at their own space. There was no rush, there was no race as such. Then came that grand pause. Now what that pause kind of did is both good and bad. I will take on the good from it and leave the bad for another discussion. Now what that pause kind of did is it brought all players, and when I say all players, I mean everyone on this side, not just the planners, whether they were the sound guys, whether they are the designers, the decor companies, the hotels, everyone on this side other than the client is to bring us all down to that starting point. So when that green flag kind of came back again, the one holding the trophy at the other side was, of course, our end client, the user. Now, in that bargain, that person has realized that I can ask for more. Now, what initially came from, a space of insecurity or unsurety of where the world is going to head from today, he's very conveniently decided that this is my Janam Siddh Adhikar, that I should and I must ask for more. Now, when that race kind of began, all of us on this side realized that the only way ahead was through stronger collaborations. And it shows in your basic, like the most basic things when you talk about a hotel planner collaboration. Talk about their sales policies and actions. The hotel realized that simply my brand reputation or season demands are not enough. You can see them in their proactive sales team, stronger planner relationships, social media influence, influencer tie-ups. All of this comes through us as planners, and very proudly so I say that for all of us. Their contracting, the rigid contracting systems are now more flexible, whether it is phased out payment plans, easier cancellation policies. The hotel realized that it is only the planner that can step up and probably help us close my contract in a timely way, and that's a win-win for both of us. We spoke about the ITC model. Hotel has realized that my upgraded infrastructure is going to only take me to new heights. Again, where did that happen? Is through a planner. That hotel could have gone their individual way, but they reached out to us again, an example of a planner-hotel collaboration. And then basic things like your overall guest experiences, F&B experiences, their openness to now, being accepted to adding new vendors from outside onto, their guest experiences. Again, who do they rely on? Us planners. Because as, we become an extension to the hotel when it comes to delivering exceptional events is what we were discussing, between you and Kamar on the corporate side. So when we talk about weddings, it is this collaboration that probably now helps in delivering exceptional events. So again, it's when that race started, what came out of it is a stronger collaboration between planners and hotels, and I'm glad it did because it's created more opportunities for all of us. Again, on this side of the race. So somewhere on that side, the one holding that green flag has realized that, okay, I cannot just go ahead and ask for any unrealistic demands, because standing on the other side is a unified collaboration that exists.
So I think it's a very good thing that hotels are open to collaborate and have that mindset of adapting to the new changes coming in and are really working towards that. But having said, again, hotels are not the only places where we do events when it comes to, especially for Goa. A lot of events, some events, one of the events from the overall event plan in Goa is taken outside the hotels. Maybe sometime onto the yachts, sometime onto some beach clubs and also. So, Mark, I want to ask you this, coming from a background of nightlife and coming from that side, I want to ask that how, other venues can collaborate and apart from the hotels and along with the event planners and give that experiential outcome to the customers.
Got it. So I think being in the nightlife space from almost 10 years now, I think we've seen a huge shift from people going clubbing, having those late nights. It is a different scene altogether because now people are looking at more of experience-based events, more of custom curated, something that feels very close to them and something that is unique for them. Like for example, the resorts have the liberty of doing whatever they want because they have the spaces with them. They have like a lawn, they have a rooftop terrace, they can have like a nice cafe, they can have like a nice pub scene. So I think in Goa also, I think Taj Horizon has like a nice DPB venue, which is a good sundowner venue for like events. Even the JW Marriott in Bagador has like a nice arcade area, which is good for like non-resident guests also. And they have a lovely pool which is overlooking beach, which is amazing for like sundowners. So I think there are a lot of spaces that can be used. Like even for example, if there's a lying tennis court in a 5-star hotel, it can also be used for a pickleball arena in today's time. So I think that way even you're attracting non-resident guests to your hotel because otherwise they don't usually get a chance to go to the hotel unless they're staying there. So besides them staying at the resort, they can also explore the other things that the resort can offer. And like keeping that in mind, there are a lot of new trends like the fake wedding party, the fake Sangeet that is happening, where they probably make use of like a ballroom or a venue space for hosting like fun concepts like a fake Sangeet, which gives a good opportunity to people who've not attended for a wedding per se, so they can understand, say for example, for a Sangeet, they can actually understand how a Sangeet goes through, like the DJs, they can be Mehndi artists. It's also a good platform for vendors to come and showcase what they're good at this platform. So I think venues can always use this, use their spaces to reimagine how they can make use of it.
Can I add a point here?
Yeah, please.
Mark in the beginning mentioned, a few minutes ago mentioned about the drawbacks of actually doing events in hotels. One of the biggest drawbacks is licenses. When you spend 4.5 to 5 lakh rupees for a license, a growing number of clients now are stepping out of the hotel and going to a restaurant to do events. Because two things. One, half those restaurants don't follow the time limit of 10 o'clock. And those parties go until 1 or 2 o'clock in the night. And that's something for our ministers to listen to, because I just read about something where they want music to go until 1 o'clock. Hotels are very, very strict about it, and they do lose out. The restaurants are gaining. Secondly, when you have 4 or 5 lakhs of licenses, I don't even want to go into how painful that is. The whole process, forget the money. Just going the whole process of 40, 45 days of running around to get those licenses. A lot of restaurants are gaining on that front, and if this continues, the hotels keep losing.
Yeah, I think that is the biggest convincing point for any client to convince them to do it outside the hotel is licenses and the whole hassle for that. And of course, the overall experience, 3 days being in the same hotel, using the similar venues. If you take a client outside the hotel, be it a beach club or a yacht, so it will make a lot of difference.
I'd also like to add here, restaurants, their specialization is food. Hotels, food is just one part of the whole experience. Most hotel food does not even compare with restaurants. I'm sorry, I'm going to say that.
So I want to say something on that. With my past experience, I've seen Grand Hyatt do beautiful collaboration with a lot of different restaurants in Goa. Like, inviting Tataki over and doing a whole Tataki counter at the wedding, or inviting some other specialized restaurants, like you said. I think that's also a very good way of collaborating, right? Not just between planners and hotels, but also other outlets.
The problem in Goa is the problem of plenty. Hotels have enough. There's enough business. When you go to metros, you'll see this a lot more. There's a lot more collaboration because each hotel is looking for something unique to offer to an end customer. In Goa, I think most hotels have enough and they don't need to think beyond. But there are some, like I really appreciate the way Westin works, for example, in Anjuna. JW works particularly, Grand Hyatt, like you mentioned. So there are hotels who are out there who are really upping their game. And hopefully in the years to come, we should have a lot more collaborations.
So having said, now collaboration we are talking is not just planners and hotels, but other different vendors as well and different experiences as well. So Nafisa, I want to ask you this. How soon do you think that collaboration journey should begin between the hotel and the planner, to be specific, and of course eventually other vendors and outlets coming on board?
I think even before a client comes to you, the collaboration needs to start, because again, if we sit together across the table and discuss how we can co-create experiences, it's easier for us to sell those experiences, to create that vision for the client, and also to understand what works for the client and what doesn't. So, it's not a cookie cutter format where a client comes and says, I want to do a wedding, and then you pull down a list of hotels and say, inka cost itna hai, inka cost itna hai. There are a lot of other factors that also come into play. It's not just the spaces, it's not probably even just the rooms. It could be the food, it could be the kind of ambience you create, the hospitality extended by the team, how much they're willing to go out of their way to make things happen for the client. Like you said, when you bring in additional collaborators to create better experiences for your guests, because all our guests are well-traveled. They've been there, done that, seen everything. I keep going back to the same thing. It's these small things that matter. Just a matter of saying, yes, I'm okay with bringing in a tataki to put up a counter, because it adds another level of, another layer to the whole culinary experience. I think that's very important. There's lots to learn also. I mean, although Goa does have its own it has its own, its own format of hospitality and its own uniqueness. I think it's always good whenever you travel, or whenever you, within India also, whenever you travel, to pick up from other destinations. Like, I remember coming back from Udaipur recently, and I'm like, yeah, they've not, everyone has not, bandi nahi karte, khamagani. Everyone has a smile on their face. Everyone wants to, be nice to you. And it feels so genuine. And you feel like a king. That's why they say, Rajasthan is all about royalty and stuff like that. I actually felt like, wow, I think I belong in this palace. So it's that. So again, you can't do the same thing in Goa. You can't replicate the same thing, because Goa has its own flavor. But we need to maybe notch it up a little bit.
So this is one of the things. But what do you think are the other some common friction points which can be turned into opportunities by collaborating with hotels and hotels with planners?
I need some time to think about this. You have anything else?
Friction points, as in you're talking about the disagreement part?
Yeah, like, between the hotel and the planners, sometimes there's disagreements and...
I guess, as I mentioned before, initially when I started my career, I really had that, a fear of non-approachableness towards the general manager. You cannot talk unless you are in that hierarchy. Now it's so easy, maybe the technology or maybe even that side of the hospitality industry they feel the need of communicating more often to everyone. So it's very easy to just drop in a message and walk into a general manager's office and express the need of something needs to be done. So I feel initially there were more hiccups. Now due to communication is becoming more easier, it's easier to express as far as it makes some changes to it. Otherwise, we just express and the changes are less. I guess we are going to take a lot of time if we get into the do's and don'ts. We had, as a hospitality industry, we are facing our own challenges. And the stage is really on fire if we start talking about it. So I'm just skipping
I know,
that.
but I agree to your point. So, sometimes when we want to close on to the hotel deal and something like that, I always tell the GMs, hey, can you just do a walk visit and meet the client once? That one meeting with the client assures the client, that, yeah, I'm in the safe hands. No matter how big of a planner you are, no matter how good of a salesman sitting from the hotel, but that 2-minute conversation from the GM, I think it's a position that
makes a lot of difference. Like the new generation of GMs are really, whether it's Alila, Anish is there, then or Siddharth Goa, the new general manager of Grand Hyatt, they all feel very approachable. So this is a new tribe which is really vocal and very, very friendly.
So you spoke about what has changed from the past to now. What do you think is going to change in next couple of years? How that whole collaboration is heading and how it's going to get better and better?
No, I'm good. Sorry, can you repeat the question? I phased out a little bit.
So I'm saying that how do you think that this whole collaboration is headed in next couple of years, and how do you think that it will add more value, and how hotels are slowly adapting and getting better in terms of collaborating with the planners?
I think something that Mark mentioned was very interesting. I think it can't just be planner versus hotel versus the taxi union versus vendors versus, usually what a client expects is a solution at the table. They don't want to run from pillar to post trying to figure out, license kahan se milega, ye kahan se milega. Yes, the planner does help with a lot of things, but there are some things that are not in our control. There are certain things that are not within our scope, and certain things that, we can't take a call on. But if we have more conversations, we have more understanding between different stakeholders in the hospitality industry, we truly sit down genuinely with the idea of making things more seamless, more easy for the client. Because honestly, we've been milking this proverbial cow for the longest time. I think it's for us to get into a system where we provide solutions and we provide affordable, realistic, doable and pleasant experiences for our clients.
I'll just add to this. We are in a space where we have much more opportunity to do the closures comparatively to other states, because the image of Goa is very affordable. So we should actually, this is the right time to milk rather than, going around about the licenses part or the taxi union. These are the concerns which even client faces, and the first call they ask whether it will be done in this or there are hidden charges. So that hidden charges can be avoided, I feel.
Great. Again, coming back to you, Kumar, because I want you to have your bring in your past and have some soft corner towards hotel. Is there something you want to give a statement to the planners that there's some way where they can ease out and maybe look at on how to collaborate with the hotels, something that they should
For the planners or for the
Yes,
hotels?
for the planners.
I think two things. One, be organized. Be extremely organized. Hotels love event planners who are well organized. They focus on operational efficiency. They want to have their job done. For them, this is just another event. For us planners, it is the event. And once you start being a little more organized, you get a lot more respect from the hotels. Second is respect the venue that you go and work at. Sometimes, and that's true, a lot of our planners, I'm not talking to the people who are here on stage, but there are a lot of us who go and work in a way at a hotel which they don't appreciate. So it's a home. I mean, if you're a guest at their venue, go respect the venue, and you'll get a lot more respect in return from them.
Yeah, I think like it's forever saying that hospitality industry is a thankless job. We should not add to it. At least we should be, we should have empathy towards them, and I think that's the best way to start the collaboration.
Having said so, I'd like to add one more thing. When a customer is at the hotel, it is not only our customer, it is also the hotel's customer, and then you look at it that way as well. The objective at the end of an event should be a repeat customer, whether it's the same customer or people from that group. You want to have repeat customers, and that only come with good experiences.
Right. So here we have everybody from the HoReCa industry, which is hotels, restaurants, and catering. So maybe 1 or 2 points for them, Kamar, on to summarize this whole topic on some key takeaways for them, that this is how you can collaborate on an immediate level with the planners, and this is the way to go forward.
It's a cliche statement, but ease of doing business. Make it easier for your customer. The easier it is for your customer, whether it's your hotel prices, whether the way you package your hotel, whether your terms and conditions, make it very easy for them to work. Secondly, communicate. Be very open and transparent with your customers. You will get long-term customers once you have a good word about the hotel going around. Do not discount the fact that one of the biggest influencers in the industry are event planners. We influence a lot of business to go either to a hotel or to either go away from a hotel. Once you start understanding that, I'm sure you'll have a lot more respect for each other.
Lovely. That was a great session. Thank you all. Do any of you want to add any other points to those? Make a closing remark. I think we have spoken enough, and I think collaboration is always the way forward. And like how Kamar closed it, it's not just the HoReCa industry, but also the event industry that needs to work on yourself and add to that collaboration. Right. Thank you very much, everyone. If there's any questions, we can take those from the audience. If not, we will have all of you come stand here and let's take a picture together. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, joining us.
Please stay back on stage. We have our colleagues presenting you all with a memento. Thank you for a great session, and we'll have a group photograph.
The next one for Mr. Mohammed. Thank you, Mr. Hakim. Please.
Everyone in the audience, thank you so much for clapping for us. We've really enjoyed the session.
Thank you, Nafisa ma'am. Your inputs were very blunt and honest. And yeah, you were talking truly about the industry. So. Ms. Shruti Tiwari, founder of VLW Global.